pistol like a Glock or some shit, one of those G-Thug guns you see in all the movies. But that's ridiculous. Like, he never really carried that particular weapon. So just so much bullshit. But anywho, Pete Santilli's arrest. We will eventually make our way back to this. I promise. Okay, so Finicum was shot. I was brooding in the parking lot. The militia guys heckled me a bit. I gave them the finger. I'm doing this for my own memory. So yeah, Pete let me get in the car, and Pete Santilli was down with all those guys. He was very. I have to watch my words because FBI and CIA and Threat Fusion Center and all that's probably recording all of this because I was there, and they probably want to give me federal charges. Anywho, I know Pete was close to those guys, and he live streamed almost everything. So he had what he thought to be a fair amount of social influence in their inner circle. So Pete, myself, and his entourage first went out to that X-Files FBI compound at the airport in Burns, Oregon. They set up something that literally looked like something out of the X-Files, man. It looked like, they had a fucking alien spaceship under tarps or something. It was just crazy. I'll give you an idea of the lay of the land. You had, a few dozen militia people and right-wingers open carrying pistols. And when I called the Harney County information line, to give you an idea of how many cops were in that county of less than 2,000 people, they told me that 28 law enforcement agencies, both federal and local, were present. I know for a fact because I saw them. They had a drone, an airplane, and a helicopter. They had six MRAP I think it's called an MRAP, MRAP. I don't know what the fucking acronym is. It's a big giant fucking mine resistant vehicle. They had 6 of them. Okay, those things cost like $1.5 million each for, just a few people saying they're willing to defend themselves if they're attacked. And that's what the people that occupied that refuge said. They didn't say, hey, we're here to kill the government. No, they said, if you attack us, we will defend ourselves. Well, fuck. I mean, that's a perfectly reasonable thought as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if somebody attacks me, I think I have every natural right to defend myself with lethal force. Anywho, to give you an idea of the grotesque, huge amount of it was a massive feeding trough, man. All those agencies were coming there to dine at the federal trough because what would happen if they'd get sent out there, that means they get paid money and overtime and blah, 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 and get some of this federal grant money for the emergency thing. They were telling the kids, the refuge, check this out. The refuge from this tiny little town was 31 miles, I think, outside of town. So they canceled school. They put up concrete inverse barricades around the high school, and the sheriff's department took it over, and they had federal and local agencies operating outside of the high school because of a bunch of guys open carrying almost 31 miles away. Last time I checked, they don't have a long rifle that can reach that far, but whatever. Okay. This is just ridiculous. They were calling all the BLM employees, all the Bureau of Land employees, and telling them not to come into work. This is the feds because, quote, we think that the militia people are going to kidnap people and try to hold them and hold them there until they release the Hammonds out of prison or at a jail or whatever. I'm like, what the crazy shit was going on? So in the midst of all that, I got in a car with Pete Santilli, this right-wing commentator that's known for being very brutal and having a really fucked up sense of humor. We went to the X-Files compound out in the and this is all on my YouTube channel, like all this video, except the giving the militia guy the finger part. That was when I didn't have the presence of mind because I was just too busy into my bird giving. But everything aside from that is documented on my channel. So we go to the X-Files compound and approach it, and they shine a light on us and tell us we can't move, and they park the car a few yards away from the entrance, where they have the barricades and the guys with the rifles, and I can see through the dark the guys aiming rifles at us. And Pete tells them over a bullhorn, you know, I think I can get people to come out of the refuge peacefully. There's no need for any more violence. You know, just I need to talk to somebody who's in charge. I need to try to get some people in some trucks to get the women and the children out of the refuge, because Finicum was murdered by then. And I'll say murder because that's what I believe. And the FBI guys basically told us Pete was getting out, and he started to walk across the 2-lane road there and walk towards the entrance of the compound. And I got out and started filming, you know, because I'm insane that way. I guess I'll carry a camera to a rifle fight. But they ordered him back into his car, and he freaked out. He's like, Mike, get back in the fucking car. So I'm like, I don't know. I shut my brain down, you know, the fear part of my brain. It's not the first time cops have aimed weapons at me. That's fun. Google Officer Go Fuck Yourself. I testified against him at Ferguson to get his job taken away from him. Fucking fat bastard. Anywho, I'm digressing again. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So they told us that we couldn't come and talk to the FBI people, so we got back in the car. That was unfortunate because I kind of really wanted to fuck with the feds a little bit there. I like getting right in their bitter, pinch me, and evil little faces and telling them what I think. It's it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. They tell us that we can't talk to somebody in charge of the FBI, but, you know, we can go to the sheriff's compound. So they sent us out back to the high school, and that's why I described, you know, the level of security is to give you an idea that we were driving past all this shit that was happening, you know, MRAP and helicopter and fun shit like that. Okay. Okay. So, we get to the FBI compound, and it's a very similar type situation happens, but they actually let us walk up and get close to them. So I'm in journalist mode, not, you know, heckling protest mode. So I that's just my mind frame by the time that we traversed to the sheriff's compound at the high school, and I'm standing about 12 feet away, and Santilli gets into it again with the sheriff's guys. He's like, you know, I can get people to come out peacefully. I can drive down there with some trucks and get people to leave the refuge. You don't have to send in the MRAPs or surround it or raid the place. You know, we can handle it peacefully. And the sheriff's deputies and stuff were standing around him in sort of a semicircle. And God, this was so long ago. Okay, I'm glad I watched these videos, or I wouldn't be able to recant this so exactly. But the deputies were standing around him in a semicircle, and he was giving his spiel about how he could get people out peacefully, and it seemed like they were going to go for it. You know, you could tell by their pantomimes or body language that they were, you know, to me, I thought they were going to try to help facilitate Santilli driving down there and loading people up in vans and getting them out where they didn't have to do a raid on the compound. And just like all of a sudden, I think maybe they were, you know, maybe a rube. Maybe they were trying to lull him into a false sense of security before they snatched him. But it seemed like they were going to let him try to help. You know, but then all of a sudden they flipped the script and said, "Oh, you're going to have to come with us. You're under arrest." And he's like, "Under arrest," and that's when the audio starts to get poor because I start doing my, I call it my patented backwards duck walk, where you basically hold your camera up above your head so you can still get the subject. When the cops are coming at you this way, if you hold it up like this, you can shoot down and slowly walk back. Yes, I'm complying. Yes, I'm following your orders. Yada yada yada. One of the sheriff's deputies or FBI, I couldn't see because they're what agency they worked for was written on their back. They were walking at me in body armor. The Santilli and his crew in the car were behind me about 15, 20 yards back. One of them tells me not to film. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not putting the camera away. That's not happening. Another one said, it's okay if you film, you just got to keep going backwards. I'm like, okay, thanks, sir, for observing my right to film, yada, yada, yada. So I keep walking back. And as they finally got to Santilli's SUV with his two other workers, people that work with him in his media crew, and his. I'm assuming that Deb Jordan is his girlfriend. I'm not sure about that. They seem very close. I don't know him very well, but there's this nice lady in the back seat named Deb Jordan, where I was getting in. And before I opened the door, I passed the door because the door was swung open. I passed the door, and before I was able to get seated back in the car, because he told me to step into the car, he aims his rifle at her chest, and she holds her hands up. And I'm all, sir, don't aim your rifle at people. And this pig, I mean, this is cop logic, our Fed logic. He tells me immediately, I'm not aiming a rifle at anyone. I'm like, right in front of me. So he's I don't know what you call it when you aim an AR-15 variant. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know. I'm not a gun guy. I'm a camera guy, but it looked like an AR-15 variant at a woman's chest, 2 feet away from me, and I'm like, "Sir, don't aim your rifle at people." He's like, "I'm not aiming a rifle at anyone." I'm like, "Do they actually believe this shit, or like?" What? Okay, so there's a flashlight on the end of your rifle. Okay, I want someone to try this. Well, actually, I don't want him to try this. Okay, what do you think a cop would do if you aimed a rifle at them with a flashlight on the end of it, right? They're going to fill you full of holes.
Yeah.
But it's okay for him to go searching around in their car with a, AR. Like, what the? Just crazy shit. So that was Santilli's arrest, and we finally arrived at that point. Wow. Well, I talk a lot. Oh.
You're gonna kill him. What's your name, sir? Your name's Go Fuck Yourself, alright? Go fuck yourself.
Wow.
Hello, officer, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, you're trying to kill me.